Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And we're in October now, so now it's time to kick off Halloween month for some horror films, as usual. And just to kick off Halloween month, I wanted to do a film of this year, a horror film that came out this year, and really start it off because I thoroughly enjoy this. Right off the bat, I thoroughly enjoy this film a lot. It is, I would say it's already in my top. Yeah, I would probably put this in my top. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite of this year. And I gotta say, spoilers alert. Is anyone who have not seen this film, spoiler alert. So, if you have not seen this video, I'm just letting you know. If you have not seen this film, stop the video right now and then watch it and then come back to this review. So I'm gonna give you a spoiler warning for this because I'm getting into spoilers now because I gotta get into this because I loved how the way this movie went. So yeah, spoilers. If you guys stop the video right now and go watch the film and then come back to this review. So getting to spoilers. 1, 2, 3, now. I loved the twist of this. I did not see this coming. However, rarely I see a horror film where a twist that I did not see coming, and I just like especially a lot of the visuals of this, especially the camera work and stuff, the choreography of the camera of the shots, and so what I'm reviewing is, I forgot to mention the title, Malignant. Malignant is already my top 5 favorite of this year. I loved this movie, this horror film, and especially and I think this is the best film that James Wan has directed. Yes, this film was directed by James Wan, who directed the first Saw film, the Conjuring movies. Well, the first 2. He didn't direct the third film. He directed the first 2 Conjuring films. Then he directed Insidious, and some of the horror films it's really people have forgotten about. He directed Dead Silence, Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon, and then yes, of course, when he get into action, he directed Aquaman and Furious 7. So yeah, he directed those action films, which I probably said before though, but it's like James Wan is better off directing horror films, not as an action movie director. But I will give credit to this though. But what happens with the action that happens like basically at the end, I did think he learned from his own films, and like from making those movies, he implemented some action in those movies and implemented it in this. So I guess maybe he did those movies. Maybe he learned a little bit about doing some action. I don't know, but whoever did, it helped in this movie, especially the finale, which I'll get into though. But Malignant, I thought was it's not original though, but I thought it was kind of like refreshing in a way. It was a little bit unique to it on the twist, especially the twist, and like James Wan films, well, without the exception of Saw, but it wasn't a ghost. It's not a ghost story like with Dead Silence or The Conjuring or Insidious, paranormal, whatever. It's nothing paranormal or ghost stories, or supernatural. Well, if you count what's going on with our lead character, maybe you say it's supernatural, but it's actually what the character's going through. So I don't think it's supernatural thing though, but it's not a ghost story at all either. So I thought I thought James Wan did a very different kind of take on it, which I thought was very, I would say refreshing, and I would say unique in a way, especially the twist. But James Wan did a really good job with this movie. Like I said, he's better at doing horror films than action films. But like I said, with the finale, the finale, I think he did learn from the Furious 7 and Aquaman, took some action advice and put it into a little bit in this. So I'll have to give like a little hand in that as well. And the cast, which I like the cast. So like it wasn't like a cast I don't know well though, but I thought the cast was capable. The lead actress, Annabelle Wallis. Yeah, Wallis. I thought she did a good job. I thought she did a really good job. And the support characters, Maddie, Hasson, who plays the sister Sydney, I thought she did fine. The guy who plays the detective, George Young, I think he did fine too. So for supporting cast was overall fine. What else I gotta say about the stuff? The score. I really love the score in this movie. Done by Joseph Bissara. I loved the score in this. I thought it was very eerie, gave it the creep factor to it. Given some of the scenes, especially the opening credits, how the way it was going through the opening credits, I really enjoyed that piece of score, and the rest of the score was really great. Really loved the score in this film, and like I said, the camera work, especially how the visuals, yeah, but also the camera work, like some in and out, in shots and out shots, or there is even a scene where our character Annabelle Wallis as Madison, where she's running through all the rooms of the house, but you see it from up above, where she's running through every single room in the house, and it's following her from up above each and every room. Like, I like the work of the camera angles on that, and there's like in and out shots and just different ways of the following of the camera work. I really enjoyed those shots. But of course, the film is not doing well because, well, you figure it's James Wan directed Aquaman, and Furious 7 made massive box office, over $1 billion, or the popularity of the Conjuring movies, but no. This is like the same box office where Dead Silence and Death Sentence made. But yeah, oh well. But regardless, I highly enjoyed Malignant. Now again, like in the story, that the opening, it opens up in the past of 1993, in this institution which looks straight up look like Arkham Asylum, you know, the fictional prison in the Batman universe. You know, it's a big old institution on a cliff. It does, to me, kind of like, is this Arkham Asylum? Yeah. But then how it opens with in this 1993 in this institution where these doctors are this patient by the name of Gabriel, and how the way this character, like, this character's already like killed some people, but how, and it was, let's take this one guard, just breaks this guy's arm, like, ugh, the bone's sticking out, and they strap it down, and you see from behind the blurry curtain saying, "What is that?" And then the doctor's saying, time to cut the cancer out." And we hear like this character can like control like speak through electronics, like through a radio or a phone, or of course they could choose like, or maybe you can say that maybe some of this is the paranormal stuff, like it can control like electricity, like it can make lights blink in and out to like especially make them explode, but it also can control, like, lend its voice or like say its thoughts into electronics, like it's speaking like through a radio basically. And then we get this eerie opening credits with the great music, and then you see the surgery they're doing a surgery. It was like a pretty graphic surgery that they're doing. And then we cut to the present, where our lead character, Madison, who's pregnant, and her husband, Derek, is abusive to her. Like, just when, like, she's blaming her for getting pregnant, and then also getting miscarriages. She said she had, like, 3 miscarriages. So he gets mad, he goes and slams her head against the back, slams her head against the wall, starts bleeding, and then she locks herself in the bedroom. Nighttime comes, the husband is on the couch, and then he hears some noises, like a refrigerator opening, blender on, and he supposedly sees something on the couch, turns on the light, nobody there. And then he's walking a little further, something's behind him, and then kills him. And when the wife, Maddie, sees his husband, and it's like how the way the husband was killed, like his neck and his arm is like crooked, the way a neck is like, well, it's not like how typical neck gets broken. It's like in a certain angle where it's not supposed to be, right? I was like, ooh. And then she gets tossed, and she goes back, hides upstairs, but then she gets tossed back, and then she wakes up in a hospital where her sister's there, and finds out she lost the baby. So she goes then later, shortly after, like the police are investigating because, like the fingerprints they got off the husband, like the fingerprints, like they say the hand like backwards, you know, as if the person was on the ceiling, and they're suspected. The one policewoman was suspecting that maybe it's Maddie did because no forced entry. She's the only one in the house that was with him, so there's a motive. But then when she goes back to the house, she starts hearing things, and like a little creepy moment where she looks out the window where there's a little bit of fog and the light goes out. You kind of see like the things that she's seeing like a dark figure that's moving towards her. That was I did kind of like that little creepy moment where you kind of see like a fade of a shadow moving towards her in a figure, and then but nothing happens, and then we cut to this woman, which this takes place in Seattle, Washington, because there's that iconic tower that's in Seattle. And there was a woman who was given a tour of the Seattle Undergrounds, which I thought was like a nice location to do because there's the Seattle Undergrounds where it's like the old city of Seattle that was put underground, and then the new town of Seattle was built on top of it. That's kind of an interesting choice to do a location at, which kind of reminds me of like As Above, So Below. The found footage from in Paris, so they used they actually filmed. Actually, I think they actually did film like the underground catacombs where all the skulls are. If they didn't, regardless, the location itself is kind of a different take on for a horror film. So okay, they used the Seattle Undergrounds, So okay, interesting location. And then the lady closing up, and then the lights. She hears something in the dark in the tunnels. Well, she goes into the tunnel, why don't you just turn the lights first before going in there, though? But still, she turns the lights on, but it's too late. The person abducts her, takes her back to this place, and ties her up. And how interesting this figure is, like the long hair with wearing this coat and gloves, and so he's basically holding her hostage. And then we cut to the doctor from the beginning, the lead doctor, who's in the opening. And what an interesting take is that's also that Maddie, like she's doing laundry, and she sees the lady, but it's in her home. Like Maddie can't move, and also I like how the way her home kind of visually, like it melts away and then melts away and then melts into the doctor's home, where she's seeing it taking place at. So she's seeing the woman being murdered in her own home, but she can't move. But she sees the whole thing, and I like that the use of the killer uses one of her trophies, kills her with it, but then takes it back to his hidden place, and like melds it or morphs it into more of a weapon. I kind of like that idea of using that pointy this trophy that's like you can be used as a weapon. Like he kind of melds it, like sharpens it to be used as a weapon to stab with. And they go to the police, explain what she saw, and then the next one that happens, there's this other doctor that was with them, that was with the female doctor in the beginning, like he kind of sees like the window open, right, and he's going to bed, and Maddie this time Maddie's in bed, which you kind of see where the poster is, where she's lying like this, and when it's red, and the poster's glowing red, because in this where the doctor's apartment is facing the sign that's glowing red coming into the window, so that's where it's red. So, like in the poster, she's lying on her bed like this, looking upwards. So, but the killer's there. She sees it again and kills a guy, and makes the police go there, tell her where it's at, and then they do find it. And the whole thing with Maddie, with the whole thing which she's going through, which I thought was kind of why is she seeing this, all these visions? It's taking place as it's happening. And the detective, he's doing some work, and he finds those books from the doctor's house. There's a picture of a girl using the technology to age the girl up 30 years, and resembles Maddie. And then she gets a call. Maddie gets a call from the killer, but you calling by her real name, Emily. Her real name is Emily May, and she knows that it's Gabriel. Which there's a part of her past when she was a kid that's been blocked, but she knew the name Gabriel. When she goes back to her, when you have this therapist or hypnotist, to take her back what was happening when she was a kid, kind of remembers because it happened during her childhood. Because you found out that her sister, that she was adopted. She was after the institution. She was put into this family. And her sister Sydney is her adoptive sister, though. But then she goes back to her foster mom, who's in a wheelchair, asking her who was Gabriel, and she shows them home video tapes on VHS that seeing her, the footage of her talking to Gabriel. Thing is a figment of her imagination, but it's telling her Gabriel's telling her to do bad things, especially with taking a knife, and when the mother was pregnant with Sydney, saying that Gabriel telling Madison to hurt the baby, but then with it, which kind of was kind of messing her up, but she didn't want to do it though. But Gabriel's so. And then after when the detective, Shaw, his name's Shaw, finds the third doctor that was with the two doctors that were dead, goes back, but it's too late. Even Maddie sees the same thing as well. And then you get a decent foot chase, I would say, a pretty decent foot chase where for the killer escapes to the fire, the fire escape, jumping down all weird, moving weirdly while going down the fire escape, and he follows him, decent foot chase to the underground, the Seattle undergrounds, decent foot chase, and he doesn't get killed yet. He didn't get killed though, but so he sees the killer get away though, and when they go back, tell how that's when they get the therapist, when getting Maddie to remember. And then we find out that the woman who was tied up, that Gabriel had hostage, when she cut herself off, she falls through the floor, which turns out it's through the ceiling, the attic that was in her own house. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't see that the whole time she was hiding up in the attic in her house. I did not know that. Okay, I was like, oh, surprise. The whole time she was hiding in the attic in her own house that she never knew about. And the police said that she's the one who's doing this because they found the coat and the gloves and the murder weapon, thinking that she did it, even though Sydney knew that she couldn't. And so, then Sydney goes to get more information about her adoptedness, and then before, so she goes to the old institution, I would say Arkham Asylum, I would say, that's been abandoned. And while Sydney's been, Madison has been put in jail. Well, now before when Detective Shaw gets the call from Gabriel himself. So, in which Maddie's been called him the devil. But when she's thrown in the jail, so with all these women punks. And one of them looks like she's stuck in the 70s. She has the afro and the stuff that he wears, and the stuff is wearing disco clothes. So the one woman's stuck in the 70s. So they're giving her a hard time. They're just bullying her. And now, like I said, well, I already gave the spoilers at the beginning of this, so. Oh, I gave the spoiler warning at the beginning of this video, so. But yeah, listen. Which now leading to the twist, which I did not see coming. Which I did not see coming was like, because when I saw the twist reveal, I was like, ugh. That was my, because I saw this in the theater, by the way. Yes, I did see this in the theater. I got the ticket right here to prove it. Get it? Yeah, see? Malignant. Yeah, so I was in the theater. When I saw the twist, I was like, ugh. And which I was like, I did not see that coming. So, because leading into the twist, Sydney finds the case files at the Arkham Asylum. I'm calling it Arkham because it looks like it. Abandoned Arkham Asylum. She finds the case files, the videotapes of the doctors interviewing first, which also revealed that there was Madison, or Emily, her birth mother, her real mother, when she was a kid, about 15, raped and all that, so she had her pretty early. And which also revealed that the woman that was kept hostage, that was her real mother that was kept hostage. And so she's now in the hospital. So when the interview, at the institution, her real mother, was being interviewed when she was a kid and had given birth early because, the whole thing, she was raped and all that. But leading into the twist that Emily, because we see the video, because we cut to Emily, Maddie, Emily, talking to the doctor, and that now that Gabriel was able to ask Gabriel, right? So he said, well, let's wake him up, right? But like how? When the video on the video footage, when the camera comes around and it reveals that Gabriel is a parasitic tumor. Lashed on the back, attached is a parasitic tumor that is she was born. You can say it's basically her twin brother. You can say, like how it says that how embryos that don't separate during inside the womb or whatever, but they just stay they're conjoined together, like a tumor, right? But it's a parasitic tumor that is currently attached to Emily or Maddie to the back of her head. It has a face, teeth, little arms. I was like, oh. So that's the twist, because the whole time the person who was doing the killing was Gabriel, because because basically, I'll say it. Gabriel is using, because since they were conjoined together, a tumor, right? Gabriel shares the same brain as Emily. They both share the same spine and brain. So he's been controlling her, using her body, because the whole time, whenever in the reality, he let her have. She's been living in this world that she's been living in, where she thinks she's seeing what the visions that she's been seeing, people getting killed. Gabriel put her in a state of mind where thinking everything she's seeing is normal and all that stuff, right? But in the reality, he's taken over her body and putting her in a state of mind where she thinks that seeing things that are normal, right? So when Maddie's abusive husband, when he slammed her back of the head against the wall, it woke Gabriel, because it goes back because they did the surgery when the female doctor said time to cut out the cancer. So they cut basically most of the face, the flesh, basically the back of the flesh off of Gabriel, and surgically put his face into the back of her head, to keep him dormant. But when Maddie's husband, slammed her head against the wall, it woke Gabriel up. And also, he's also been responsible for the miscarriages that she had, because he's been feeding off her fetus, as you can say, to build his strength back up. And this gives him, like, superhuman strength. And that's why you can say why the killer has been moving so weirdly, because and that's why she's been bleeding in the back of her head the whole time, because what's happening in the prison, we see her ripping the back of her head open, the part of the skull where Gabriel's face is, and his face comes emerging out of the back of her skull. And how would you say how she's been moving weirdly, because he moves forward, basically. The real person is moving backwards. He moves forward by making her body move backwards. So that's why they say before the hand seemed like it was backwards, like it was on the ceiling. So it's the way it's like he's moving forward by walking backwards. Basically, that's how it is, because his face is facing that way. So he has to make the body move backwards, make it think he's moving to make him move forward. So okay, that's how the thing has been. The person's been walking all weirdly, because he's moving forward, but at the same time, like, moving backwards. Basically. So yeah, and and he's been doing this to get revenge, basically to get revenge on the people that did that in the asylum, and he wanted to get rid of, and he wanted to basically kill unborn Sydney with her mom, because since they are siblings, they should be together. So that's why. And he also wanted to kill his real mother because of what she did. Revenge, basically. And the whole thing in the jail cell, because Maddie's now in this state of mind now where he put her there, thinking in her mind everything is fine, but in reality he's doing everything. And when he kills, especially getting into this, which I thought was in the police station was utterly insane. It's like what Terminator did in the first Terminator film did in the police station. You think that was crazy? Or another one which Harley's ever mentioned, Maniac Cop. Well, the sequel basically in the sequel to Maniac Cop 2, where he goes and terminates executes a whole bunch of police officers. This here was utterly insane. I was like, wow. First of all, in the jail cell, how he's taking all these female, all the female inmates, right? Because it's a female prison, so how Gabriel takes out all the women, like takes the disco lady one, rips her piece of her neck out, and she's just slamming people down, caving their heads in, breaking arms, snapping necks. Even the one that was giving her the most crap, Gabriel uses this woman as a shield, as one cup's shooting, using that woman, taking all the bullets in. I mean, this is utterly insane. Like, yeah, just keep killing all these women left and right. Like I said, breaking bones, necks, snapping necks, smashing faces in, and then more into the police station when Gabriel gets the coat gloves and the murder weapon back. Then just slaughtering all the police officers. He goes on full how do I put this? Well, because Gabriel is like superhuman, right? And like he's doing all these flips, all these agilities, jumping here to there, doing all these flips, avoiding gunshots, hacking, slashing with that piece of the trophy as a murder weapon, stabbing, cutting. I'm like, is this referencing all like a 90s movie? Because like Maniac Cop 2 and also 80 because of the Terminator as well, though. But still, I'm like, the whole thing is going on. It's just making me realize about just it's something I watched for back in the 90s, so 90s horror films, even 80s, really enough, because that's what I felt like. I thought it was made it kind of refreshing and unique in a way, and like this whole police station was like it was crazy. just going full on, as I mentioned, not full on. Well, full on Terminator, I would say though, because how the way Terminator is, or Maniac Cop though. But I was gonna bring up John Wick because how the way John Wick is. Well, first of all, John Wick has guns, and he'll use a bunch of headshots, all that stuff though. But I guess that could be a good thing too. Just goes on full John Wick on everything though, with a knife, well, with a pony trophy end basically. But just it was honestly just killing all these cops left and right, and just like moving like with a great agility, flips and just everything. Just I was like, wow. That was just great. So this is part of the action like I'm talking about, where I guess where James Wan kind of learned a few things from doing Aquaman and Furious 7, I guess. So I gotta give him that though. I gotta give him that. So yeah, the action in this with just killing all the police officers is like, wow, this is crazy. Like with the jail inmates and the police officers, this is like utterly insane. Terminator, John Wick, Maniac Cop 2, Carnage, and the police station. This is like, wow, this is great. And then after injuring our two cops, or the lead cops, you could say. Yeah, this is making me feel like I was watching an old horror film from back in the 90s. I don't count them as old horror films though. 80s too, well, because you're referencing Terminator. That was 84. So the police station, that's referencing Terminator also. But I also gotta give them the 90s as well, because I miss those era of horror films from back then. Because those are my because I was born in 91, so those are kind of my time of good horror films from back then. And that's what it just reminds me of, because in a good way, because I miss those horror films. So it did kind of give me, as I was watching this thing, I was like, okay, I'm kind of feeling that, but you're bringing me back, okay. And so after that, Gabriel goes to the hospital and trying to get kill his mother. Sidney gets there, trying to yell at Maddie, you're still in there. You can fight him. After he flips the hospital bed on her, and I like when she turns the tables on Gabriel. Emily turns the tables on Gabriel. Now it's his turn. She has now put him in that mental state of mind where he's been doing that to her. So now she turns the tables on him now. And I like that she locks him in a vision of a prison cell. So in her state of mind, she puts him behind bars. He's saying, you can't lock me up forever. I will get out. And then she says, I know. And when you do, I'll be ready for you. And then now she's back in control of her body. And now since they share the same brain and all that stuff, she now possesses that super strength that he has. So now she's able to lift that hospital bed off of her sister. And her real mother is watching this too, and saying, and Maddie saying to Sidney, saying that, I always want a real blood relative, but it doesn't matter or not, though. You're my sister. And then the camera pans to this lamp here, and you can kind of hear the humming of the light. Hence, that the Gabriel is still in there, though. It's like you can control the electricity, like the lights and stuff like that, electronics and stuff too. So yeah, oh my god. Malignant, I love this film. James Wan did a superb, fantastic job with this film. It's like, okay, it came a little bit different, a little bit unique and refreshing. It's the twist I did not see coming. I did not see coming the whole thing about the tumor, the parasitic tumor. That was the whole reason. And the fact that it would have been her twin brother, but they're being conjoined together, basically. Because I was like, this is the end for you, sis. I'm saying that to Sidney. So yeah, I did not see that twist coming. I was like, wow. And especially the whole thing, the incident at the police station was utterly insane. Wow. So yeah, it was not a ghost story at all, like what James Wan did for like The Conjuring or Insidious or Dead Silence. So yeah, it was not a ghost story. Maybe you say paranormal because the guy Gabriel can control the electronics, like electricity and that stuff. That maybe I say though, but yeah, but it wasn't full on paranormal though. Like I said, the use of the camera angles that James Wan uses, the photography, like in and out shots, and the whole up above camera angles, the action in the police station where, like I said, he did a good job, which, you know, like the characters doing all these backflips or, you know, just moving around, killing all the police officers and stuff, and the way the kills, like I said, breaking all like the inmates, you know, like snapping necks, breaking bones, caving faces in, heads in, or with the murder weapon of the trophy, stabbing. It was just utterly insane. Yeah, it was a build up though, but then when the finale, the twist happens, it just like, wow, keeps up fast. And the score is fantastic. I love the score by Joseph Becerra. Yeah, Becerra. Yeah, Becerra. I love the score to this film. It was great. And the photography, the visually, especially when it's melting, when her home or where she's at is melting and it's transforming to the other place where it's happening. I like that. I like that shot too. And the whole thing with the twist with why was all this happening? Oh, because the whole time Gabriel was in control of her body and putting her in a state of mind where where the world she's living was real. When the murder starts happening, so he put her in that state of mind, and I love the ending where she turns the tables on him, doing the same. She does the same thing to him, what he did for her. This time, visually putting him behind bars, saying that, you know, the next time he gets out, she'll be ready. I just love how the way this film went. You know, I thought it was kind of. I know it's not original because nothing is original nowadays, but it does do things a bit differently. Sometimes just because something's different doesn't mean it's good. But in this case, I thought this kind of different kind of made it refreshing because it wasn't a typical ghost or mostly paranormal that I've seen, and I did not see that coming. The twist. So yeah. Annabelle Wallis, who played Maddie/Cindy, Maddie/Emily, I thought she did a good job. I think she did. The girl who played the sister, I thought she did good too, and the guy who played the detective as well. And the whole time when her real mother was being held hostage, I did not know the whole time she was held up there in her own attic in Maddie's home. I did not know, especially when the moment she fell to the floor. And the use of locations in Seattle, like the underground, the old Seattle underground, I liked the location of that. And everything, like I said. The twist, like I said, I did not see coming. And I thought it was like, James Wan did such a superb, fantastic job with this film. He's like I said, he's better at doing horror films more than action films. I'm not a fan of Aquaman. I don't hate Furious 7. I have a lot of flaws with it though, but I didn't hate it overall. But I think you should stick to doing horror films. Like I liked Saw, the first Saw, Dead Silence. I don't mind. I like Dead Sentence, but that's more thriller though. I like The Conjuring, and The Conjuring 2. The first Insidious, okay. I'm not a fan of the sequels though, but the first one, I would say, is the best one. I'd probably say. I have to rewatch that again though. And this film, I think, is one of his best ones. I'd probably say I like this better than the Conjuring movies, although I like the first two Conjuring films because I thought it was a bit different from what he did. So. I know usually a lot of times say just because it's a lot of times when films do things differently doesn't mean it's good though. But here in this case, I thought it was different. I thought it was very good, kind of unique. It was a little bit refreshing. You know, wasn't a typical ghost story or full on paranormal. Even though the guy Gabriel controlled like the electric stuff. But I enjoyed the characters. For the supporting characters, there wasn't much depth into them though, but I thought they did fine. The guy who played Detective Shaw, the girl who played the sister Sydney, or the female detective, the real birth mother of Maddie. I thought they all did fine. Like I said, visuals, the score is great, the camera work, and some of the kills. Like I said, the kills, like especially the whole full-on police station was utterly insane with the inmates and the police officers, utterly insane. Terminator, Maniac Cop, and John Wick pulled all roll into one. It was just crazy good. And it ended, how when Maddie turned the tables on Gabriel, putting him in his own prison state of mind, like how he did for her. I like that. If you do, I will get out. And he says, yeah, if you do, I'll be ready. So now she possesses that strength that he had. So, because they share the same body. But yeah, Malignant, I loved. Easily my top 5 for sure. If not, I'll probably put in my top 3, but it's easily my top 5 for sure. I love Malignant, and the title was fitting. It was a very fitting title, a malignant tumor, you can say probably. So yeah, I gave the spoiler warning at the beginning of this movie because by now, at this point in the video, you've probably already seen it now. So yeah. So sorry to really say spoilers, not spoiler warning, because I gave it at the beginning of this video. So whoever's watching it now, by the end of this video, has already seen the film now. But yeah, I really love this movie, this horror film. I think it's the best horror film I've seen. Well, Willy's Wonderland is also, I put it as a horror film. Willy's Wonderland. I definitely put it. I mark it as a horror film. Yeah, this and Willy's Wonderland, which is also a favorite of mine of this year. So yeah, James Wan did a really good job. I think this is one of his best film, I think, and he just stick to doing more horror films like this. I'll be much more interested in what the next one he would do. Not doing Aquaman 2, no. Stay away from Aquaman 2. Just do more horror films like this. Then I get more praise for it. More bang for my buck, I would say. But yeah, thumbs up for this, for Malignant. I loved it. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed this video. Continue on for. I just want to start this off for Halloween month with a good one. Such a favorite of this year for me. So yeah, stay tuned for more for coming on for Halloween month. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one later. And listen, if you have not seen Malignant, check it out. Well, I already gave the spoiler warning anyway, but still, regardless, check it out if I'm saying that. So it's if you don't like it, that's fine then. It's to each their own. So anyway, see you more for next Halloween month later.